Quarkchain Review. A new scalable blockchain looking to dethrone Ethereum. Quarkchain is one of the new blockchains on the block that aims to create a highly scalable and secure blockchain that can handle up to 1 million transactions per second using a two-layer blockchain system. They are seeking to bring crypto to a wider mainstream audience and will support smart contracts with Ethereum virtual machine. This means developers will be able to easily port and deploy the apps built on Ethereum into Quarkchain once they mainnet its lead, which could make Quarkchain a serious contender right out the gate. Blockchain scalability is at the forefront of many people's minds in the crypto community. It is one of the most hotly debated topics and trends going around. But what is blockchain scalability? Blockchain scalability is the potential of the blockchain network to handle greater amounts of transactions without incurring negative side effects. Let's consider a football stadium with a capacity to hold 50,000 people for a second. The stadium can be said to scale well up to 50,000 people. However, extending the stadium's capacity with say 75,000 people will have a great impact on the safety and the experience of the patrons. There will be longer queues than normal for food, drinks and toilets, creating a poor experience for attendees. There will be a standing room only and everyone will be bumping shoulders as they attempt to move around the stadium. Blockchain scalability comes down to transactions. A transaction for a blockchain can simply be thought of as one user sending cryptocurrencies to another user. Bitcoin can support roughly 6 to 7 of these transactions per second. Ethereum may house around 15 transactions per second. This means Bitcoin and Ethereum scaling has a very low transaction throughput, and I illustrate in the Ethereum example above, would lead to a negative experience for the attendees or patrons. Transactions will crawl to a halt and take minutes instead of seconds to go through. Transaction fees will skyrocket, and it simply will not be an enjoyable time for anyone involved. The question then is, how can blockchains achieve a higher level of transaction throughput so they are able to perform a higher transactions per second? Blockchains versus financial payment system. Let's compare Bitcoin and Ethereum to widely adopted transaction system to date. Visa can handle 45,000 to 60,000 transactions per second during peak Christmas periods, whereas Alipay is capable of a gigantic 200,000 transactions a second. For crypto to have any chance whatsoever of unleashing its full potential in disrupting many of the world's incumbent industries, it is evident there must first be solution of the limitation of blockchain scalability. Quarkchain. Quarkchain aims to build a user-friendly, decentralized, and reliable blockchain that can ultimately handle millions of transactions per second. Scalability has been integrated into the design of Quarkchain from the get-go, and with this in mind, devs set out to build a platform capable of supporting industries ranging from the fintech to gaming and social media. The problem? There's a saying in life that goes like this. When you're young, you have time and energy, but no money. When you're an adult, you have money and energy, but no time. When you're retired, you have time and money, but not energy. What a dilemma, or should we say trilemma? Well, it's really not possible to achieve all three. Of course it is. A similar trilemma represents excess in blockchain. However, there has been no viable solution uncovered today, and this is exactly what Quarkchain, along with many others in this scale, are attempting to solve. The blockchain trilemma looks like this. A permissioned, centralized blockchain can provide scalability and security, however, lose all trace of decentralization. Permissioned blockchains are similar to centralized systems in the old world such as banks, Visa, as well as PayPal. Opting for permissionless decentralized blockchains such as Bitcoin or Ethereum provide security and dispersed network, however, scalability is sacrificed. This was evident with the CryptoKitties DApp and excessive transaction fees when the demand of the Bitcoin network was high. The real change, therefore, is figuring out how blockchain can achieve all three: decentralization, scalability, and security. How Mover is able to solve this trilemma will likely score themselves a one-way ticket to the moon. But before we leap towards thinking about getting into the moon, let's take a step back and consider exactly why it is that centralization, security, and scalability are essential components for a blockchain. Blockchain security. The two primary components that ensure the security of blockchains are making sure only valid transactions are made and that the network is safe and resistant to malicious attacks on users. Ensuring that only valid transactions are made allows users of cryptocurrency to maintain a strong level of trust and confidence in the value of the crypto. If a user can easily send tokens they don't own and make new ones out of thin air, this greatly undermines the value of the cryptocurrency. This would be similar to printing money out of thin air, which has been a regular practice for many reserve banks around the world for several years. The more money is introduced into any company, this will drive inflation up, causing the currency begin printing to drop in value. When this is taken to extremes, hyperinflation can occur, as was the case in Zimbabwe, and this can cause all sorts of mayhem, strife, and havoc. Decentralization. As the term implies, decentralization is the opposite of centralization, and in the case of crypto, an extreme level of centralization will be having a sole miner for a blockchain. Anyone transacting on this blockchain will need to have a great deal of faith and trust that this sole miner won't do anything dodgy as make a fake transactions. Even if people trusted this miner, the network will still be a great risk as now anyone interested in taking down the blockchain has a single target to attack. They can launch a denial of service attack on the miner, taking the whole network down, or look to the breed, blackmail, or manipulate the miner into doing their victim. Scalability. As writing above, decentralization and security are essential for the ecosystem. They provide a reliable and costly efficient scale to continue evolving into future dates. On the other hand, as shown of the next diagram, as security and decentralization grows, an enormous amount of data, requirements for storage, and a bandwidth needs grow with it, which intrinsically implies a diminution in the system's scalability. Solutions. As illustrated in the diagram below, there are three proposals to solving the problem of scalability. Multi-block chains. They may suffer from vulnerability issues, double spending attacks, reserve transaction, or strategic mining attacks. Lightning Network. BTC's options of this problem seems to be inefficient. User transaction charges are random and happen sporadically. Sharding. Omni-layer solutions to the problem with the intricate consensus protocol. It may be limited by crossing shard transactions in single shard takes over. But partial solutions do not provide full efficiency, especially in time of exponential evolution. Quarkchain aims to fulfill the ultimate goal of any blockchain, extending scalability far beyond current limits. while maintaining the balance for both security and decentralization. Quarkchain's bottom-up approach to scalability begins by considering the two primary functions a blockchain serves as public layer, which is taking the state of a layer and all the transactions that are made and ensuring only valid transactions and confirming and resources into the ledger. The state of ledger. If you're not sure what a ledger is, you can think of this as thing responsible for keeping track and for recording everything that occurs in your bank account. Your account has running lists of debits when money goes out of your account and credits when money goes into your account, which are recorded whenever money is sent or received into your account. The stage of the ledger then is simply a snap of what is your bank account at any point in time, which is otherwise known as your bank balance. When a friend sends $50 into your account that has $100 in it, the new stage of your account will then be $150. Confirmation of transactions. If a transaction is made, it doesn't necessarily mean the transactions will go through, and this is what confirming a transaction is all about. Sending $100 to a friend with $50 in your account will see your transactions getting rejected. The transactions won't be processed and confirmed as it is an invalid transaction due to insufficient funds in your account. Quarkchain's two-layer blockchain system. Quarkchain separates out these two primary functions with the use of a two-layer system that allows for greater scalability. The first layer consists of elastic shared blockchains, and the second layer has a root blockchain. Elastic, the shared minor. Blockchains on this layer are elastic because the amount can be increased or decreased as required. Sharded, each sharded minor blockchain only processes a small subset of all the transactions that occur, so they are considered sharded, as they represent a small fragment of all the transactions occurring throughout the network. This is what enables Quarkchain's scalability. Blockchains. The miner. Blockchains keep track of the current state of the layer by processing and recording relevant data such as user accounts and the transactions made between accounts. The second layer and its root blockchain. The second layer shares the function of confirming the transactions that take place throughout the network. This is done by sending the block headers of the minor blockchains that contain all the transactions to the root blockchain. In the root blockchain, they confirm these transactions by creating a new blockchain with all of the block headers. Quarkchain's second layer system offers a higher amount of transactions per second, which accounting for bottlenecks that occur from increased throughput such as computing power, data storage, and internet bandwidth. Are we decentralized yet? Quarkchain incorporates several features to ensure decentralization of the network. Collaborative mining driven by game-theoretic incentives to ensure when miners mine for their own selfish benefits that this behavior aligns with what's best for the overall system. Mining difficulty algorithms that designed so that hash power is evenly distributed among shared minor blockchains and the root blockchain. Each blockchain offers different rewards and difficulty levels so that weak miners can achieve similar levels of expected returns by mining when compared to join a mining pool. This lessens the need for mining pools and results in less centralizations. Main future stage overview. Smart contracts. Quarkchain supports smart contracts when the use of Ethereum virtual machine. Chartered blockchains therefore run their own smart contracts local to their blockchain via EVM. Chartered blockchains can be thought as a mini Ethereum or clone of Ethereum running simultaneously and parallel to one another with unique individual wallets associated to them. So for Chartered Blockchain 1, you will also have Wallet 1, and on Chartered Blockchain 2 there is Wallet 2, and so forth. As you can imagine, it will be childish to keep track of these wallets, especially if there are hundreds or even thousands of these chartered blockchains, which is why Quarkchains offer the following two features. Simple account management, smart wallet. In Quarkchain, users are able to use a single primary account, where the majority of the user funds will be parked of them to manage all other wallets. When a user wants to send funds to a different chartered blockchain, the user simply sends it from their primary account. The primary account is combined with a smart wallet to automatically handle cross-chart transactions. These cross-chart transactions can be made anytime and are confirmed within minutes. A cross-chart transaction is a transaction that is made from one chartered blockchain to another chartered blockchain, e.g., sending funds from Wallet 1 to Wallet 2 will constitute a cross-chart transaction, whereas transactions made from one wallet to another wallet within the same chart, e.g., chart 1 is considered an in-chart transaction. Collaborative mining. Quarkchain is a hybrid proof of work blockchain that uses a ASIC resistant POW. The rope chain reaches consensus via POW, with each chartered blockchain following a rope chain first consensus to deal with forks. Due to the two-layer system, an advisor will need to first revert transactions or block headers on the root blockchains in the second layer before they can attempt to revert transactions made on the shared blockchain level. In an early prototype, Quarkchain's shared blockchains were able to confirm blockchains in 10 seconds and the root chains confirm blocks within 2.5 minutes. Hash power. As each blockchain in the network offers a different level of mining rewards and difficulty, this allows miners to choose which blockchains to mine to achieve the best level returns given their hash power. This creates an open market for mining where the blockchains act as sellers, toting blocks rewards, with miners buying block rewards with hashing power as their currency. Quarkchain's mining difficulty algorithms are designed so there is at least 50% of total hash power allocated to the root blockchain at all times, with the remaining 50% being evenly distributed among chartered blockchains. Malicious users looking to attack Quarkchain require at least 25% of the network's total hash power, which is less than 51% required for Bitcoin. Clustering. Recording and keeping track of all transactions for a blockchain is resource intensive, though for a high throughput blockchain is even more so. Unfortunately, this is how most blockchains such as Bitcoin and Ethereum functions with miners who take on the role of full nodes. For a high throughput blockchain performing 500,000 transactions per second, these transactions will add up to requiring 10 terabytes of data to be stored each day by miner and an internet bandwidth of at least 1 gigabyte per second. Miners capable of such demanding requirements will likely only be commercially run mining operations, and so the high amount of throughput will lead to the centralization of miners, with the smaller miners taking their hash power slower. This is why Quarkchain incorporates the concept of clustering. Miners so that many nodes are able to work together in order to create a full node. Each mining node within a cluster works to validate a subset of blockchains and then binds together to share what they validate to form the complete picture of all transactions that have occurred throughout the network. Jumping back to our banking account analogy, a full node can be considered as having the complete picture of all bank accounts held by a bank, including all the transactions that have been made for each account. A mining node, however, only has a snapshot of the first 100 bank accounts and their related transactions, with a second mining node covering the next 100 and so forth. In order for mining nodes to understand what's happening in all bank accounts, they had to come together and share what they know to form the complete picture and make up a full node. You can imagine just how difficult it will be for one accountant to keep track of all the different bank accounts and the transactions happening throughout. Splitting out the accounts and spreading them out over several accountants, however, makes the task a lot more manageable. In the case of miners, this means the total amount of data that a miner has to store is far less than what they would be required to store if they had to operate as a full node. Testnet. Quarkchain currently has a private testnet list that is operating with 8 sharded blockchains, with each shard performing 100 to 200 transactions per second. The total transactions per second for the network currently range from 1,000 to 2,000 transactions per second.